The sharpness of the crystal breaks up the beam of light and reveals within its essence a rainbow born within. Thus the prism of reflection breaks upon the face of men and reveals beyond all postures a religion of the truth. Chapter 3, entitled Chandelier. It is perhaps man's greatest tragedy that those who have fought so fiercely for the true religion have not made a religion of the truth. The truth is not something to be fought for. It is, and it is attained by watching and by nothing else, neither by faith nor by devotion. Men are conceited if they think they can ever attain the truth. The truth is not an object to be possessed. It exists in the seeing and not in the smugness of having. It is something that we do not attain but embrace in the act of meditation. Meditation is the whole of religion, and there is no other, for it is the only thing that can truly bring us into great awareness of God. It is not some secret breath control of some especially uncomfortable way of sitting. It is simply the act of watching one's own mind, of coming to know one's own completely. It is an act which makes one realize that the whole universe is one's own body, and that the action of one's own mind is also the action of the stars. Meditation is something that makes us all at one with everything that lives. It is the source of all insight and compassion. In deep meditation, one loses sense of the actual limits of one's own body. One begins to feel weightless, as though floating in space devoid of gravity. One feels almost bird-like, as though one were either an eagle with a mighty wingspan or a tiny sparrow dwarfed by the immensity of the forest, either omnipotent or humble. Now it might seem that these feelings are contradictory, but they are not. They are both feelings of power seen from different angles. There is obviously the power of being great and mighty, but there is also the power of being small and insignificant, of being able to fit into places where no one else can penetrate. Indeed, there is a very special and magical power of being able to walk beneath the grass, of being able to look up at the flower instead of down, of confronting and devouring gigantic and monstrous insects, and of being able to see the world as something utterly vast and impressive. To attain insight, one must have at once both a sense of power and humility. One has to respect oneself without being impressed by oneself. One has to be the mighty and small at the same time, utterly flexible, completely empty, and completely content, defenseless yet protected, seeking nothing and yet open to all experiences. The eagle with his power is lost within the thicket, and thus it is said, great men are ruined when little men survive. In the very place where the sparrows make their nests, the eagle is ensnared. Now, in this moment, in this very instant which is our being, there is only the field of awareness, and it is neither a ground of being, nor any mountaintop. There is only incomparable beauty of this very instant, and it is neither the climax of yesterday nor the root of tomorrow. There is only the field of awareness, and it is the infinite, having neither height nor depth. What then are the use of such things, insignificant and glorious, the climax and the root? The same field of awareness permeates all things, and it is immeasurable. In all the universe there is only the wonder of seeing. The beauty of nature is awesome and terrifying. It paints a picture for us of profound gentleness, using as pigments 1,000 bits of horror. The seas and the forests, the atmosphere and the fields, all are filled with innumerable creatures, each one looking innocent and gentle, yet each one preying off the body of the next. The cat feeds upon the sparrow feeds upon the worm, and the worm, when it can, feeds upon all once living things. Everything flourishes, and everything is endangered. It seems that there is nothing which does not know its moment of terror and grief. The pleasure of living runs from agony to bliss, from happiness to sorrow. Yet I know there is a consciousness that feels everything at once, that absorbs everything into its own clear insight. And that consciousness is God. Apart from all others, and seen in its primary state, each color is harsh and electric, almost to the point of wounding the eye, but when blended with the others, each color is soft and harmonious, iridescent and beautiful. The beauty of things exists in their whole, and a wise man knows that things exist of themselves, but never in themselves. Everything is related, and to see that relationship is to see the mind of God. Once, while I was looking through a magazine of photographs, I came upon one of the beautiful place near Nuremberg. At first glance, I thought it was a picture of a shimmering lake, but looking again more closely, I could see what it appeared to be water was in fact the reflection of the moonlight on the damp pavement of a great stadium. Here was the pavement where the stormtroopers had marched. Here was the place where 400,000 had roared their approval towards Adolf. Now the pavement was cracked and everywhere covered with small weeds. The great columns were broken and the stadium itself littered with rubble. Yet oddly enough, the place was neither ugly nor depressing, for all the lines of its once pompous and militaristic architecture had been transformed by decay into a vision of strange beauty. It was now a place of silence and peace. The great crowds are gone, and there were only two people, holding hands as they strolled along in the wet moonlight evening. The 1,000-year Reich had not lasted a generation, but who knew how many generations would come from this one insightful couple?